Remember that joy you used to experience as a kid? I mean, that kid joy. It was curious, it didn't judge, and really didn't need more than some dirt to get it going. But as our bodies grew, our ability to experience that youthful joy starts to shrink. It gets jaded, distracted by things that don't really matter. This is the story about a girl whose every breath she took was filled with that pure, youthful joy. Most people get overwhelmed by it, jaded, and eventually choke on their own youthful joy. Not this girl. It's like her lungs for that youthful joy were like an airship, while we were all cursed with mere water balloons. Her capacity to breathe in that youthful joy was just too big for one city. She took it on to college, to Los Angeles, and eventually New York, and inevitably across the entire globe. Boy, to be around her, it was something special. It was like everything that mattered was happening there in front of you. I mean, wherever you were, you wanted to be there. You stopped worrying about who you weren't. Frankly, you stopped giving a damn what everyone else was up to. You weren't nagged by what you were supposed to be doing and just spent time focusing on that moment you're in. Because man, that moment, you string enough of those together, you've got yourself a life spilling over with all that stuff you can't explain that makes this whole damn thing worth it. The best way to describe her impact on folks, you got to kind of think about a middle school dance, right? On one side, you had all the girls grouped around the punch bowl. And on the other side, you had all the guys in a circle together. She was the girl that brought everyone together in the middle of the room and just made everyone dance. It's no surprise that everyone came to love her. You could not become one of her best friends because her youthful joy rubbed off on all of us. Oh, did I mention she was a knockout? Not the type of beauty that makes you feel less beautiful, but that type of beauty that makes your heart glow, makes you feel like you too are more beautiful. So here's the thing. I know what you're thinking. Sign me up for that life, right? Sure, she was blessed. But with all that joy to bring about in others, she never found the same in one person. She never intended to make the journey alone. Then, one day, when she had pretty much given up, someone came along. Not in the way she expected it. He didn't shower her with gifts or praise. He didn't try to take away from all that joy she brought about in so many other people. He didn't get mad being around other folks. In fact, he kind of liked it as much as she did. He wasn't like any guy she had ever met. Not necessarily in a good way, just like in a way, like a statement of fact. The best way to describe him was probably odd. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. If she had an idea of Prince Charming, he was closer to the prince's jester. He just wanted to be her friend, a companion almost. It felt more like that first day on the beach playing in the sand, but there happened to be someone next to her. So for them, falling in love was like building their own little sandbox around the two of them. Now she had someone she could dance with, laugh with, play with, stay out late with. If you saw them in public, you'd think they were best friends, maybe brother and sister. Our story doesn't end here. You'd assume that falling deeply in love will create real love, but that's a dangerous assumption, because the things that make you fall in love typically blind you from the things that are required to get to real love. It sounds silly, right? You can't make real love without first falling in love, right? You see, falling in love blinds you from the simple facts of life that we like to forget. The fact that our jobs and our resources aren't guaranteed. I mean, even if we could, for all the pounds of glitter we can slap on life, they won't give you an ounce of enduring happiness. Or how about the fact that attraction isn't really permanent? Our sharp features turn to wrinkles, our forms turn to curves. As similar as two people can be at one point, they'll almost certainly grow apart. We're all going to hit the ground in love and life at some point. It's just a question of when. Some of us like to think that we're fortunate enough to push that off years and years down the road, but I don't think it's good fortune. You see, adversity is the mother of real love. Sometimes real love has to take the bus. Sometimes real love requires you to stand behind someone else. And this isn't easy. Maybe you're used to the spotlight. Maybe where they're standing doesn't align with where you thought your life would lead you. In fact, it probably feels like you're losing your own identity. But the reality is, to develop a joint identity that's a prerequisite to real love, it requires this. Real love isn't something we talk about all the time. It's not what we see in the movies. In fact, even our closest friends, when we look at their relationships from the outside, it's really almost impossible to see. Take that in account with the fact that real love requires actual risk, real consequences. It's kind of easy to see that most relationships never even get there. But for those who make it to the other side, trust me, life with real love is better. You know that you'll always have someone to lift you up no matter what. You know the biggest secret of real love? It's that it's actually better on the other side. To get to real love, you have to give up your own spotlight. You are literally doing that. You are stepping away from all that you had built around you for something the two of you can have together. And the craziest part is, and I never would have believed this from the start, it's that when you get to the other side of real love, you realize that the spotlight you now get from each other is 10 times better than the one you had on your own, and it's never going anywhere. And that's a pretty comforting feeling. So how will our story end? Happily ever after? Maybe, maybe not. But I know two things. This isn't the end, but just the beginning. And wherever our paths may go, it's a pretty safe bet we'll be together.